These are the supplies we recommend for the install. We have latex gloves to keep your hands safe from the adhesive, isopropyl alcohol with a microfiber rag, that's for prepping the surface before the adhesive. This is the adhesive that we recommend. It's the 3M Black Super Weatherstrip adhesive. It does the best job. And then we have popsicle sticks that we use as applicators for tight spaces, a couple different shapes. And then we also recommend the green painter's tape because it's more formulated for body. It won't hurt your paint on the removal, and it will help hold the seal in place during install. So now let's begin the install. We're just going to start by making sure that the surface is cleaned and prepped. We're using just a rag and isopropyl alcohol. And we're just making sure we get a good surface for the adhesive. The old door seals and adhesive have already been removed. There was no adhesive present on this one. So otherwise we would be using an adhesive remover to make sure that before alcohol to make sure that everything is clean and removed. The next step of the install will be dry fitting the seal to make sure that everything fits right and it is lined up properly before we apply any adhesive. To make sure that it is in the right position, we are going to tape it in place. We recommend placing the tape 6 inches apart. That should be adequate enough. Make sure to not stretch or deform the extrusion in any way. The length will be proper, so you should not have to stretch it. But you do make sure that it follows the contour of the door sill. Putting the last piece of tape on, and then we're gonna make sure the door closes. Now that we made sure that the seal fits, we're gonna start slow just to make sure that it seems like everything's lining up. But these new seals are gonna take some pressure to, since they're fresh, to get the shape formed into them. So now we'll be installing and gluing in the seals. We'll be using the 3M Black Super Weatherstrip and gasket adhesive. That's what we recommend. I also recommend gloves. We're also going to be using, we have basically popsicle sticks that we've modified for applicators, some narrower to try and get into smaller areas, and then these ones that we just cut flat so we have a nice flat surface to spread. Because we're going to apply it to the door sill, and then we're also going to apply it to the seal. And then we're going to give the adhesive time to set, maybe 1 to 2 minutes. We'll do 6 inches at a time, and then we'll mate them together. I'm just doing a fine bead. It goes a long way, so I'm just spreading it out with a popsicle stick, making sure I have a nice, uniform, even, thin layer. The thicker it is, the more you'll fight it setting properly. So you like to make sure it's a nice, thin layer. I'm gonna go right at the corner of the two surfaces I'm gonna use. where I'm going to be adhering. It doesn't take much because it goes a long way. But the stuff is messy. And make sure you don't distort the seal, you just press straight in line with where it sits. Make sure you're in position because this will try and grab right away. I'm going to add strips to help reinforce where I've glued already, help hold it in place, and then we're going to work our way down the seal. If you do get a little bit of glue outside where the seal sits, you definitely will want to clean that up, but I would just use a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on a rag, soften it up, and then use a plastic scraper so you won't risk scratching. That will help clean off any that pushes outside the seal shape. Yeah, I'm just applying a nice small bead. It goes a long way. Spreading it up to where I stopped on the previous stretch. So we apply the adhesive to the sill and the seal. We let that set for a second, and we do reinforce with one additional small thin bead on the sill side. I do like to very gently pull just to make sure that I'm getting a good adhesion. And then I'm just adding tape again just to make sure that nothing moves around and everything is held in place while it continues to set. So any mess or spill out that happens on the extrusion, I'm going to clean up when I'm all done. And that will just be with isopropyl alcohol and a rag. And if I need to, a scraper on the metal surfaces to get any excess off. So we are just finishing with this final stretch. We've already adhered all the rest of the door and everything is looking good, all the rest of the seal. So I just finished the install of the door seal. So now we're going to close the door for it to do its final 24-hour cure of the adhesive, and it will help reinforce by pressing evenly across the whole thing, having the door closed. We're going to be removing the seal from this door. Sometimes they can either be clipped in, glued in, or a mixture of both. This one is actually just clipped in, so we'll be using a specialty tool to help pop the clips out without damaging anything. If it was adhesive and glued in, then you can use a heat gun to assist softening while you remove. And then you would use a general adhesive remover to clean up the surface, anything left over new adhesive on the install. This one, since the state of the clips, we're actually just pulling the rubber off, and then we'll deal with the clips after the fact. And this one you can see we'll be separating this more from the pressure of the hinge, and the latch really is stuck. So we'll have some debris to clean up just to make sure we got good surface for glue. These are coming out pretty easy. I'm just taking it easy to try and not break them. They come out easier if you don't have the protrusion part still in the door. We already finished dry fitting all the seals on the door. That's why they're taped up in place in position, just to make sure everything fit first. For this van, we are going to be readjusting the door hinges. So we're just going to be doing these 3 bolt patterns at the top and bottom hinges. We're just going to crack them loose just enough to readjust the door, because as you can see, this door has quite a bit of sag. You see the largening gap just from time. It's 3 sets of 3 bolts. On this door, it's a 1/2-inch socket, and we're just cracking them loose enough to be able to adjust the plate in the door. So with the hinges loose, you can actually see how much movement there is in this door. And so we can actually correct this gap by lifting up and retightening the door at the hinges. All right, we just got the doors tightened back up, and so now we're just doing the final test fit to make sure that everything closes. No problem. Got top and bottom. We were able to correct the gap a lot better with realigning the hinge. This door we actually didn't need to, but this door we needed to, and we were able to correct quite a bit of skew that helps it close much better. We're going to start with the corner on the glue-in, because on these loops on the right doors, the corners really dictate how the rest of the extrusion likes to lay. So I'm just peeling back the tape that is holding the seal in place so that I can get to just a small section at a time. You don't want to do too long of a section at once. And then I'm going to apply a small bead to the door. And I'll spread that out across the surface. You don't need a lot, you want a nice thin uniform layer. So that's what you'll do when you spread it out. You'll thin it out. I'm applying the adhesive to both surfaces that the seal seats on. And you also apply it, you apply it to the sill and you apply it to the seal. And press directly inward. You don't want to stretch it out. You want to just press into the door for a few seconds to help it hold. And now we're done with the right door, so now we're gonna move on to gluing in the left door. So now we have already glued the majority of this side left cargo door seal. So now we're just gonna finish the start and end points, the more crucial parts. This part I'm going to reinforce with tape. This one's pretty crucial with how it likes to line up because it overlaps this sill. So I'm really trying to reinforce the tape to make sure that it's staying in the proper position as the glue sets. And so on this end component, we're actually not going to be utilizing the clip hole. We're just going to be applying glue to all the surfaces and make sure we line it up with this plate. All right, so now all the side door seals are installed. So we're gonna leave the tape on and we're gonna actually close the doors for 24 hours. The pressure will evenly disperse along the seal and help hold it in place while the weather strip does its final cure. It's going to be a little hard to close at first. It is fresh rubber with tape also in its way. Our rubber is designed to form to the door over time, so it will impression to its application. Now we're going to start installing the rear door seals. We already dry fit them to make sure that everything fit, and we already adjusted the hinges. So now the next step is to just start gluing in one section of one of the seals. And again, on this right rear, we're going to start on the corner. It's the most crucial to make sure that it is lined up to dictate where everything else will line up. All right, we just finished this right door seal on the rear. So now we're gonna move on to the left door. And we're gonna start at the starting point of the extrusion, where it starts on the top, and then work our way around. How these left rear door seals fit the end component fits the door is it sneaks behind this feature, behind the latch, and then this feature actually tucks into the sill here. Now we have the rest of this stretch already glued in, and so now all we have left to do is just this final end component here. Just like the top tucks behind this feature and behind the latch striker. Come loose at any point while it sets, just because these are the crucial ends. All right, we have finished this left and the right rear, so now we are going to try and we're going to close them to allow them to do the final cure for 24 hours. All right, we just finished the install on this van. We did all the door seals. It just goes to show that you do not need a professional to help you do the DIY install, especially with the right reference. Please check the link in the video description below and visit us at metrommp.com. We make the highest quality parts for your classic car with over 100 years of experience. Thank you for watching and see you next time.